Today we're going to make a cardboard crank. But what is a crank? A crank is an angled connection that takes a rotating motion and transforms it into a different motion. Let's take a look at some examples. Where's the crank? We can see how the bicycle pedal is actually a form of a crank. As we rotate, it rotates the wheel. The motion of turning the crank is what makes the giraffe go up and down. If we look a little more closely, as we turn the crank, it turns the wire in the back and this straight wire is connected to it. So as this moves in a circle, the wire moves up and down. But when I straighten the wire, it's really hard to get the giraffe to move because it can't turn anymore. So having that crank or that angle really is what makes the giraffe go up and down. You're also going to grab 2 foam sheets and do some decorations on this. And what we're going to start with is think about, what would I like to design? Maybe you want something that will move. And in my case, I think with yellow and brown, I'm going to make a giraffe. And I'll draw a giraffe here and then maybe make this into a tree. So I have a yellow piece of paper and a marker, and I will draw a giraffe on my foam sheet. So now I'm going to cut out my giraffe. I could cut it exactly, or if I want to, I can kind of bubble cut it. So whatever is easier for you, bubble cut it. So that's my giraffe. Now that I have my giraffe cut, I'm going to take a piece of brown foam and I'm just going to draw a tree. So I'm just going to make the basic outline of a tree and cut this part out. Let's kind of cut out a weird top part, and instead of that brown, I'm going to I have a piece of green, so I'll add green puffy leaves. And I'll cut this out as well. And then I can just glue that to make a tree on the top. So I have a giraffe and a tree. Let's now make this move. So now I have my 2 pieces. This is glued on. I'm going to figure out what piece I want to move. I think I'm going to have the giraffe move up and down so it looks like it's eating leaves from the tree. So for the piece that moves, I'm going to take my long straight wire and attach it to the back of the piece that I want to move. So I'm going to turn it around, put the wire down, grab a piece of tape, tape it down. So I have a giraffe with a wire stick, and I have my tree. So I think I want this part, my giraffe, to go up and down. So I'm going to place him closer to the back. But what I'll have to do is figure out how to poke a hole to figure out where the giraffe will go, because he's on a wire stick. So that's where this skewer comes in. So I think I'll put him right here. I'm going to take it, poke it, and you're going to have to wiggle it a little bit more. It should go all the way through. Now I have a hole on top. That hole, I put my giraffe in. See? Sitting right here. This wire needs to connect to this foam. So So the giraffe is through the hole and I need to connect it to the foam piece. So I'm going to bend it a little bit and form a J, and I'm going to poke it into the side of the foam, just like that. Might be a little hard, just poke it through. And you can see it connects right through there. Now we can see when we turn it, the giraffe goes up and down. This is a tree, and I'm going to ask an adult to help me glue it down right here. So I've taken this thick foam piece and I glued it to the back of the tree. After I glued it to the back of the tree, I glued this unit onto the platform, and that's what keeps the tree stable. At the end, I'm just going to ask an adult to put a little bit of hot glue right here so that my wire doesn't pop out, and then you're done. I've glued down my tree, and I can turn it, and you can see my giraffe goes up and down, and it looks like it's eating the tree. Right now I can add some more decorations. I can probably take some paper and color or markers and color this part, add some fruit to the trees with some colored marker. It's really up to you what you want to do, but this is kind of the basic one movement cardboard cranky contraption. Here's another example where we have two things that move, and we added some foreground elements, which means some decorations in the very front. We have some grass right on the bottom, and we have some mountains in the back that were all glued on. This is another way to decorate your design. So here's a more complicated piece that has 3 items that move. But if we look at the very back, what we find is just 3 items with 3 different holes, but they're all connected to the foam piece. So that's something you can do once you're done. You can add more holes, add more wires, straight wires, and connect them all so that when you turn, you have multiple things that move at the same time.